side.
Here we are with the grounds. You've got grounds, you've got Giles, you've got Jones, 2 G's and a J. On a wonderful Friday morning here, brought to you by the wonderful folks at Cannabis CBD Shop. Cannabis CBD Shop offers quality, affordable, convenient products. Our mission is to provide an alternative, natural way of healing without using industrialized pharmaceuticals. We offer a broad array of hemp products to address a wide variety of ailments. Our team will guide you through your options to make sure that you are comfortable with your purchase. Visit them at 818 Front Street, McHenry, Illinois, 60050, or at CannabisCBDShop.com, 815-678-2608. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning.
Good
Friday
morning.
already. This week disappeared quick.
Quite as fast.
Yeah, when you have that one extra day that you're not technically working.
Yeah.
Technically. I mean,
A national
it's
holiday.
a national holiday to remember all of our fallen.
Yeah.
So
Well, we don't need to get into that again.
that was last week's fun. But, it's something you
That's
never
right.
forget. So, but
Of course,
at least they give us one good day.
To my right, your left is our good friend Sim.
I had to think about that. My right, your left. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks
No,
for having
you're
me
not-
on, guys.
Hey, Sim.
Yeah.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
I'm doing great.
It's Friday. We're here.
It's Friday.
We're up.
It's
So that's
early.
a beautiful thing. We've conquered the most important thing. We woke up, right?
Yeah. And you know what? Hey, join it. You're welcome. The door's open. Come on in. You can come right into the studio as Sim has done. Or you can just go ahead and copy the link and jump on.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Because what we want to talk about is life and things that are happening in life.
That's the whole thing of the grounds.
That's
It's
the
whatever
grounds.
comes up, whatever we dig up, whatever we
Yeah.
need to talk about and soothe our heads, or some days even irritate our heads a little bit, which I think part of what we like about this show, or what we try to achieve with our show, is to stir up the pot, so to speak, to make people think, instead of just being sheep, right? Yeah, just make people think about things, not make people do things, but just maybe come at it from a different perspective in life and look at it from someone else's point of view and look at it, absorb it, maybe adopt it, or say, you know what, that guy's just nuts. But at least you look at it from a different perspective instead of being right. Yeah. Instead of watching all the three, the big radio stations.
Yeah.
Or not radio, but TV, which I don't really watch, and getting skewed information.
Yeah,
right?
People need to be critical. That's
Silas, how are you, brother? Join in. Been a while. Hope things are well down in Arizona. Here's what's on my mind.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Good morning.
That's right. Because I'm tired of
I'm tired of the same old shit. So when Kent says I want to tell you what's on my mind, I have to take a sip of coffee.
That's it. Storytellers, and the world's best storytellers. And I'm not talking about your grandpa rocking out on the front porch, and telling you a story about mining iron ore up in the UP. That's what my grandpa did.
That's awesome.
sweet.
Hey, there's Shayna, too.
Morning, Shayna. That's being away from everybody, huh?
The great storytellers of the world are who?
Storytellers?
Yep.
Mark Twain.
Well, no, I think what he's getting at here, I think the great storytellers, what he's getting at, and from almost a negative connotation, is the news.
Yes.
The media. They're telling a story. Most of the media is telling a story, to us as the, listeners, that is skewed. Just depending on which channel you listen to.
I don't even know. No,
Well,
I listen to quite a few. I do my research. I own a radio station, so I listen to a lot.
You do?
I listen to a lot of different radio.
He owns a radio station,
shows.
Pete?
Yeah, so do I.
What's the number?
216 The Net.
And how do we-
Thanks for
216 The Net.
joining us.
Yeah, thanks for
Welcome
joining
to the
us.
ground.
Yeah, 216thenet.com.
Thanks for
Real
getting
life
coffee.
internet radio.
So we get, especially in America. I speak for America because I've never been outside of America. Maybe to Canada once, but that's North America. And so you good? You got the.
I'm good. Thanks, Pete. I got
You
it.
could have interrupted me. My brain ain't working yet.
That's right.
We could throw something at me. That's fine.
So it seems that our nation tends to get in a little bit of an uprise or a buzz over what you see on media. And I will say mainstream media, I will say non-mainstream media, because they're all selling the same story now, right? So I don't subscribe to any cable. I don't have cable, so I choose to stream and read my information from different sources, and it's all of a sudden kind of gone quiet about guns. It's kind of gone quiet about lives that matter, and the big push now is vaccines.
Oh my God! That's crazy. I mean,
Maybe I'm wrong.
did you hear?
No.
It was I don't remember what it was. I was just talking to a buddy yesterday. Some state is offering $1 million to put you in a drawing for $1 million
Yeah.
when you get
Illinois.
your vaccine. It's Illinois. No, I thought it was
Illinois has a lottery now
Yeah.
to get a vaccine.
It's
I think we're on a
100,000.
radio station. I can't
100,000.
get screwed up. But
100,000.
what the fuck is that all about? Why would you be offering somebody to get into a lottery just to shoot something into their? I mean,
That may be coming up, Shane.
right? But
Well, it's about the herd immunity
I get the
theory,
herd immunity.
and the more people who get it, the closer we get to herd immunity.
Get what?
Get the vaccine.
Okay.
And you know,
If it were a vaccine, then it would work.
if
Right.
it were,
But it's
okay,
not.
I get it.
Well,
I
it's
get
not.
it. There's some doubt about the vaccine.
Well, here's if you can just do one thing for me, and it'll ease my head hugely in this whole topic, is don't use it as a vaccine. Okay, a vaccine cannot work against a virus. A vaccine is actually used for a disease. It's a shot. It's an attempt at a preventative measure
Right.
to increase your immune system to fight off
a specific,
the virus. Right.
a
So it's not
specific
a
virus.
vaccine.
Right.
A vaccine it's the wrong
Okay.
terminology.
So we're using the
that's-
wrong word,
that-
right.
It's simple, but it's
Hmm.
for me, that does not work because it's not a vaccine. A
but
vaccine is
there's
curing a disease like
there's
a polio or something like that.
But you could be vaccinated against, literally, you could be vaccinated against, hearing people's complaints at work, or, the vaccine can be a more general term, right? Can't be.
No.
It
You can
can't
use
be,
it as an inoculation. I would prefer inoculation.
Well, that's what they said after the second vaccine, the Pfizer second vaccine. After 2 weeks, you're inoculated. So the term inoculation means,
inoculated or
protected.
annihilated.
well,
Actually, germ theory is just that, a theory. Same with herd immunity. Hey, Colorado, too.
Oh, my wife Deidre says she thinks Colorado's offering a lottery too,
Yeah.
to enter into the lottery. So my only problem with that is, I get the herd immunity. My family, we're all very medically informed, but I don't appreciate one bit the fact that they're
Well-
offering you money, because obviously money is the root of all evil for a lot of people. Everyone's going to go for it, right?
Yeah.
So
it's still your choice, though.
yes, it is, and yes, it's not.
So-
It is,
I mean,
but
if
it's
you
not.
want to win $1 million, there's a lot of ways you can get into that, right?
But
You
there are
can
also some
play the
some
lottery,
Some
you
other
can-
places were offering like a shot and a beer after you
shotgun shells, beers. Sure.
All right. So, and I'm not a doctor. I don't want to play a doctor. You don't do it on TV or radio.
He does look like a doctor, though.
Gary does say that a vaccine is essentially medication to stimulate the production of antibodies to provide immunity. Now, again, coming from a good scientist friend of mine, not me, is antibodies don't really do anything. It's your T cells. Your T cells have to be familiar with the virus or whatever, and the T cells are actually what help your immune system. The antibodies you can have running around in you. If you don't have the T cell buildup, then it really doesn't matter. Again, not a doctor. Here's the thing that I'm having trouble with throughout the world. Are you vaccinated?
I am.
Okay, good. Are you scared that I'm not?
No.
Okay. Are you scared that I'm not?
No, not
Okay.
at all.
So
I take care of take care of my body.
The problem being is that they're trying to get money to hit a certain percentage. It doesn't even make sense, because if you're vaccinated, I'm vaccinated against polio. I'm not scared of getting polio. Well, you can't get polio from another person. Get it. I got it. But I'm not scared to get it. If you are vaccinated, It doesn't matter if the 3-4 people, if I open mouth kiss you, because why? You're vaccinated.
But you're supposed to be safe.
There's the chance of, again, I'm not a doctor either. I did speak at length with my own doctor about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, when you get
Is Dr. Phil really?
Well, Dr. Phil counts a little bit.
Yeah, but it's I kind of lost my train of thought there. But
You talked to your doctor at length.
I talked to my doctor at length about it, and
Open mouth
it's
kiss.
only about reducing the chance of spreading it. It's not about you personally getting it, and the chance of you spreading it are reduced with the vaccine.
So you can still get it.
You can still get it.
So you're not vaccinated. So then let's just stop calling it a vaccination.
Well, but no vaccination is 100%, is it? Like polio?
Polio is pretty much eradicated in the
Right.
world.
Yeah.
No, and that's not, right.
The other two tenets of this are,
Yeah.
if you get it, the chances of severe complications are less if you're vaccinated. And again, I'm just repeating what I've read.
Yeah.
I'm not an expert on this. And honestly, I didn't think we were going to talk about this today
Yeah.
because I know that we've got into this a little bit at our networking meeting a few weeks ago. And the other part of it is, you're less chance of spreading it if you're vaccinated.
How do you know? If you can still get it if you're vaccinated, how do you know you can't spread it?
How do I know? I don't know how to answer that.
Right.
But,
That's what I'm
that's
saying.
what my doctor said.
That's where he's getting at, I think, with
Right.
the media thing is
Correct.
right. Because you can, however you feel, for me, however you feel about getting inoculated against the COVID, right, is up to you. And if you do it or not is up to you.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
make sure you're doing it that you're informed, that you actually take all the information from whatever media source you choose and make a good informed decision. Don't do it because they say you should do it. Make sure you're doing it for
right.
the right reason, not
Do it.
because someone else tells you to do it
or offers
do
you
it.
$1 million
or
prize.
offers you $1 million lottery ticket. I mean, that's just
Do it
ridiculous.
for you.
Do it for you,
Yeah.
right? Do it for you
Listen,
and your family.
your family.
If that's what you want to
Listen,
do.
Thank you.
and Silas, Gary says antibodies are like the recon. So Silas says they're what?
I got to keep up with you.
They're trying to reach total.
Pick a blurb and go and
blurb.
stick with it.
They're
Yeah.
trying to reach TVE, total vaccine exposure, to suppress the risk of escalation of infections. I think they want at least 70%. Well, what's that do? That just makes you feel good. That doesn't do anything.
What is
that?
why
mean?
is 70% any
Right.
better than 60%?
That's like back when they were locking things down. Why was it June 1st that they had to lock things? What was so important about that
That
date?
was just a,
Right.
that was just
It was
an
just a
ancillary.
date.
That was just a
Right.
date that they came
Listen.
up with.
Listen, in no time in my life, these flu shots, and they just call them shots. They don't call them flu vaccines
Right. And
because
that's
flu is a virus.
COVID
right?
shot.
So they called
It's
this a flu shot. At no time did we ever go up in arms because 7 people and many, many, many people die from the flu each year, except for the past, right?
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is we weren't upset that 70% of the people did not get the flu shot for total shot exposure, right?
Yeah.
Why are we upset now that 70%? Listen, if you're vaccinated, you have to feel good enough that if I'm not and I have it, that you're going to be fine.
Yeah.
So what's it matter if I go, you know what? I will battle COVID again. I battled it and I won. And I will battle it again because that's my choice. About me. It has nothing to do with you. Well, then you can spread it. Well, no, that can't because everybody's vaccinated.
Yeah. But, they're not forcing anybody to get the vaccine.
No, they're not forcing. However,
They're-
money.
Well, who's
Who's forced?
So
they're enticing. They're not.
They're
forcing.
enticing,
They're
but
enticing.
actually, no, there are,
School
and this
teachers.
is what's scaring me.
Yeah, exactly.
Is the
Shayna.
point that they're actually starting to force or make it strongly push. Like one of my really good buddies works for a university, and they are making it mandatory.
Yeah.
That goes
Go
against
online.
every
Except,
inalienable
That's
right.
what. Go
Except-
online. Don't go to that school. There's a lot of other ones out there.
Right,
I
but
like
that's
what
just-
Shayna says. Right. Major incentives, massive ad campaigns, public shaming, and ostracizing and censorship like we have never seen. Why be suspect? Exactly. I agree. And that's kind of what we're talking about, the storytellers. Now, here's an interesting fact. Back in the 1950s, right? So, Sim, you would have been
Hey,
10,
Gary.
right?
The 50s.
Good. Gary.
Right. So, back in the 1950s,
Sim's at least as old as I am.
Yeah.
okay.
I'm 36, so
Yeah.
screw all you.
It's been a hard life.
54.
I worry a lot.
You don't look a day over 70.
Hey, you and I are the same age.
Really?
Yeah.
66er?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm a 69er.
Nice. I was born in June of 66, so I'm a 66er.
Hey, you got what's June? Got a birthday coming
Wow,
up,
look
huh?
at that.
Yeah. Monday.
That might explain
Monday.
a
I'll
little
be the
bit.
double nickels on Monday. So
Ooh.
thanks. Everybody.
You're a little
birthday.
older than I am.
Happy
Oh, great.
birthday.
Just by a few months.
Anyways.
A little older.
Anyway, back in the 1950s, here in the United States, they had a vaccine, we could call it, so you couldn't miscarry, to help prevent miscarriage. It was a shot to help prevent miscarriages back in the 1950s. I don't know if you're aware of this. And a strong majority, 78% of those females who had children, 78% of those children, hey, Eli, hi, Steph, grew up totally deaf because of this inoculation so that you wouldn't miscarry, right? So as with the shots today, we don't know. 20% of the population are females, between that 18 and 25, 28 years old, right in there. And we don't know what repercussions this shot will have on birth.
Their fertility.
Yeah, right? With their birthing or their children. So there's 20% of the population right there that probably won't get it.
Sure.
Won't get, because we don't know, because they want to be parents and have healthy children.
Right.
So now we're down to 80%. Fair to say,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, but we want to get to 70%. So that means only 10% left can say, I don't want it. I don't think
I
that's going to
choose
happen.
not to.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, right?
Well, hopefully the science keeps developing too. Like
Well-
you said, we don't know what the effects are, but
Well, here's
soon we'll have more information.
Here's the other interesting thing. Just throwing some statistics at y'all because I did a little research.
I did.
All right. Of all the people who died with COVID on their at least in the United States, on their death certificate as cause of death, were hospitalized, were in the ICU, or had to be put on
Ventilators.
Yep.
78%. Listen to me, people. 78% of those people morbidly obese. Think of all the millions of people hospitalized, all the hundreds of thousands on the respirators. 78% of those morbidly obese.
So unhealthy to begin with.
That would tell me. Listen, I'm not morbidly. I'm just on the lower end of obese right now.
I'm
I just want
moderately
people to know that.
moderately obese.
Not morbidly yet.
Yeah, we're not picking on people that are overweight.
Right? But think of that. 70. So what is so if 80% of that 78% were not morbidly obese, would they have had that problem? So maybe there's a bit more underlying.
Yeah, it's
Well,
like
there's a lot
remember
more factors. There
Yeah.
are way more factors than people really know and are paying attention to, and that's where your research really comes in. And that's that. I appreciate that statistic.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
it's
don't
like
think
the,
a lot of people actually pay attention to that. They listen to whatever news media they
Right.
choose,
No.
right? And they go, well, they say it should be true. It should be true. I'll listen to them. They don't take all of the research and kind of make their own decision off it, which is, I respect that. If you go and you do all your research and you look at every different avenue and look at the positives and negatives, the percentages of obese people and stuff like that, and then you still decide that you want to take the chance and get this inoculation, that's your
Good
decision.
morning,
That's your
Bunny.
choice. That's your choice.
Well, it's like
but
the
to do it just because the news media says it, or because I had a lady, one not
I
too
love
long
you,
ago,
Silas.
tell me one time that she got it, and I just asked her, what was your reasoning behind it? Because I'm trying to
Yeah.
say, just because everyone else is, I figured I'd do it.
Yeah, and hey,
I don't. I
right?
Remember
I
the
feel that that's absolutely. She's just absolutely stupid. She's so uneducated, or maybe she's not
I didn't know that,
uneducated,
Jimmy.
but she does herself and the world a disservice by doing that.
Yeah.
Is, and you'll notice that among those statistics, gingers had very, very, very low experience with that. So
You and your
we manufacture our own vitamin D.
you guys need to with that fair skin.
I'm actually a redhead too, Pete. My hair turned brown in my 20s, but I was a redhead as a kid. So
I was a
Look,
towhead.
we got Cameroon joining us this morning.
Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, I think going
Hungry.
back to what you said about the obese people being in the higher rate of death for COVID. Remember when we had the heat wave in the 90s and there were people dying, there were bodies piled up at the morgue.
I don't remember that.
I forget the numbers. I
lived
should have
in
done some
Iowa.
research
There
on
wasn't any
this.
problems.
Yeah. But a
I remember.
vast majority of the people who died from heat exposure were in poor health to begin with. But the death certificate says
Why don't we get vaccinated against heat? Then?
died from heat. But that's because a doctor has to put something on there. And if you're on your way,
insurance reasons.
if you're on your way to the hospital having a heart attack and you get in a car crash and die, you died of a car crash. And so the point is, you can say this million people died of COVID, and you can either say, I don't believe it because those people were obese, or you can say, I understand the numbers, but they're not quite as drastic because of those contributing factors.
Gary, you are a beautiful man.
I look young for a 50-year-old.
Yeah, see, beautiful.
Well,
Absolutely.
So the whole thing that we started on our discussion this morning, I want to make sure because is you were talking about the media, where we're getting our news from, and how it's. I believe you were going towards is how it's skewed,
Yes.
Yeah.
right, and not really they're only putting out what that particular news section, if you will, wants you to hear,
Right.
Mhm.
right. That's
Rectamundo.
right, and that's
As
for me.
Fonzie
That's
would
where it's really important that people actually are able to ingest or look at more than just one area for their information and their news, so they can make a valid choice.
And be critical.
No matter what it is,
Yeah.
whether it has to do with COVID, whether it has to do with finances, investing, buying a house, anything.
Yeah.
A lot of people just aren't taking the proper information and digesting it, making their own proper decision.
Yeah, be critical.
well-
Whenever you're given some information, don't just accept it.
Let it
Question
be.
it.
Let
You
it
know,
be.
question whatever you see.
Yeah.
And when you used to trust ABC at
I'm Walter
5:30
Trump.
every night, now you have to dig deeper. You look at who's advertising on that program. Look at the market they're trying to hit. Just think about it a little more. It doesn't mean you shouldn't watch the ABC News, but be more critical and be more investigative when you hear something you're not quite sure about.
And we here at 216 and Net have nothing against ABC. As a matter of fact, if you'd like to write us a big check to take over our station, we would greatly appreciate it.
I imagine their money spends just as well as everybody else's. So
That's Disney money right there. That's big time.
Absolutely. And I think that is the frustrating thing everywhere you go now, right? You talked about it. We only got it at 5:30. Got it from 5:30 to 6, and then the local news was 6 to 6:30 done.
Yeah.
And back in the day, the local news might only had one real good news story that took 15 minutes, and then you had the weather, then you had sports, and then they were gone.
Yeah.
Right? Or sports and then weather. I don't know what it was, right?
Right.
But now the news is a 2-minute bite here, a scroll at the bottom there, and it's on everywhere. You go to get your tires changed, what's on? CNN.
Yeah.
You go to get your teeth cleaned, what's on? Fox News. It's all news all the time, 24 hours a day. We're inundated. Is it the same way for you over in Singapore?
Yeah, I think with the explosion of internet as a whole and the ability for information to be spread across the world in second, I think what most mainstream media have a problem now is which is the news story that I should put as a headline.
Yep.
And that actually and unfortunately, for one of the side effects is that the money trail now comes into play, because the money trail will lead to that particular news being put as a headline because somebody wants it to be on the headline for their own purposes. And that is where you get this gigantic tsunami of bite-sized information, as you say, 2-minute information. We're changing our tires, and unfortunately, sometimes, or it's not sometimes, I think generally, it's not possible to condense important information into a 2-minute bite size. But the problem is people take it with them and takes it as a gospel truth. And yeah, you are now in the state that you are in now, where the landscape is just inundated with 2-minute bite-sized information that they tell you a certain amount of truth, but due to time constraints, the other half of the truth is left out. And from there, things just get spread. And, the thing about the current COVID vaccination, things like that, is exactly that same situation right now. Half truth, half of the truth is by relative. It's true, relatively speaking, to another thing, but it's not the whole truth.
Right.
And that is the problem that I think, especially I think in the US, not so much here in Asia, but I think in the US, you are having a very big problem. There doesn't seem to be enough hours in a day for news of any stations in the US. So you're as you say, you are constantly inundated with it. And I mean, we get 24-hour news here, but we don't really pay much attention to it, to be honest with it.
Beautiful. And Silas, thank you. We're all product of the media we consume. Unfortunately, you're consuming 21/6 of that.
And that's a good media.
That's good media.
Because we don't have any agenda. We're not paid to say things.
No,
there's no money to follow here,
boy,
so to speak.
Yeah, boy, is there none. Yeah.
Unless it comes from the advertisers.
If you'd like to donate to the
yeah, right.
The shocking lack of money.
That's
Well, we do it for the love.
Listen, next week we're going to have brand new microphones. Trust me, we're going to look really cool.
We're going to have new mics.
We're going to be cool.
Mike Jones, Mike Stevens.
Courtesy of ABC.
Yeah, courtesy of ABC.
And then you'll see an ABC bug in the webcast.
So as what is, I guess growing up, guys our age, right, in the 30s and 50s, right?
I love you.
Is we didn't care, right? I mean, we got the news, like you said, once a day, but there seems to be an overwhelmingly, I've got to listen to talk radio. I got to find out what's happening in Singapore, where I didn't even know that Singapore was an island before we started talking with Gary, right? Truthfully, right? But now we're like, oh man, I need to know, why have the storytellers become so magnetic that we have to be
social media
bombarded with
social media stuff? Because you don't want to be that guy who doesn't know what the hell everybody else is talking about.
I've been that guy my whole life.
But that's what it is, isn't it?
But
isn't that what it is?
I don't know.
I think that's the thing. I think that's one. I think that's one of the major
part of it.
Yeah, the current generation, they want to be in the loop, to be one of the trends, so that I know what's a trending thing that's happening. And so, unfortunately, at their age, for the younger generation, they may not be matured enough to discern what is reality and what is not reality. So they mishmash all this together and take it as a gospel truth. And unfortunately, it will lead to a lot of problems and misunderstandings down the road as they grow up in their 20s and 30s.
And I love what Shana says. It's a move into infotainment. Truthfully, right? I mean, Walter Cronkite, not the best looking man in the world, but you can't find a non-model on the news today. You don't see an ugly news dude or an ugly weather lady. You just don't.
Right.
It's like, hey, you are exactly what my viewers want to look at.
Right.
Hey,
well, they're any way possible shape that they can get more viewers. You
Yeah.
know, so having
But
somebody pretty to
I'm
look
not
at,
a journalist.
Yeah.
Don't have to be. Can you read the teleprompter?
right?
Yeah.
Right.
We've
Well,
got journalists. Right?
It's entertainment. It's
But
it's
it
the
is.
same thing with
It
music. Like how many, ugly musical performers are out there? Like
Tons.
Alice Cooper is not.
Well,
I was gonna say tons, but no,
and we
it's-
love you, Alice, and of course,
Mick Jagger,
Right, yeah.
Bob Dylan.
That's one of the areas of society that is actually failing, is everybody is too involved in everybody else's business and paying attention, so to speak, of what the media is
Art
saying, that
Garfunkel.
they're not taking the time just to be them,
right.
to be themselves, to enjoy their life for however they want to live it.
Yeah.
Well,
They're more concerned about everybody
Pressure.
else's life.
and now
Right.
the storytellers used to tell us facts. The storytellers used to research and tell us facts, or what we considered facts, right? Now it's my opinion, because if now I question the pretty man that's sitting there reading the news, and he's not a journalist, and he doesn't know, all he's done is read the teleprompter, now I get his opinion. And then I go, well, he's in the news. It must be
Right, he's on TV.
Yeah.
He must be
He
right. We
knows.
must
Yeah.
believe him,
He
which is
knows,
which is
yeah.
the way a lot of people
Yeah.
are, and
And
you can't.
I'd like to thank Shayna, because she recognizes that all the other media out there is far overproduced for sure. Not like this program, wherein the producer is quite reserved and lets the host and the guests do their things, and for her that means there's some
where is that?
authenticity
I
to that.
I think I upset Don last week
So-
speaking about freedom.
But Don's probably off looking for more freedom.
Licking his wounds.
So, and Silas here, the obsession with media is a tool, America's culture war. He who wins the media wins the culture and controls the political levers.
Interesting.
Wow.
Silas. I like that.
Yeah,
That's got some truth
That's
to it.
got some teeth. Yeah.
So
Well,
I think with what Kent was saying, though, as far as the media, as far as control, as far as information, as far as authenticity.
No, let's take a look at what has happened. The media must the storytellers. We won't say the media. We'll just say the storytellers must have achieved what they wanted to achieve, because now the story they're telling is about emails. Pete told me.
Yeah, emails. And by the way, Wendy was in love. That's my mom. Was in love with Walter Cronkite.
You had a beautiful mustache.
So yeah,
Beautiful.
he was a well
Nice.
mustachioed man.
Fantastic.
He was nice, right?
So-
I mean, yeah.
He
I'm
was trusted
Walter
too.
Cronkite.
Nobody
Well-
trusts anybody now.
Now we do have some emails from the good doctor himself that actually convey what a lot of people were saying. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory, or oh, the orange man, he doesn't know what he's talking about. But indeed, the good doctor was well aware of, which includes some involvement of not necessarily his direct involvement, but his knowledge of engineering involved in the coronavirus, the facility over in Wuhan, the fact that masks are ineffective in keeping out the virus. Of
That
course,
may be why he wears two.
they're helpful.
Yeah.
They're helpful to keep
Fully vaccinated.
people from coughing or spitting or spewing on you. And that would be appreciated no matter what. I really enjoy not being spittled upon,
Spilled.
but
Leaked.
we now have we also have confirmation from the CDC that actual real deaths from the coronavirus, that is the actual cause.
The sole cause.
Sole cause is less than 10,000. That does not equate to a pandemic, folks. It really doesn't. So there you have it. We've got the smoking gun. Now we got to look at how we're going to digest all that.
Okay, but
So
so what's the uproar now?
what's
What are the storytellers going to say? Are the
yeah,
storytellers
that's
going to sweep this
interesting.
under the rug? Are the storytellers going to go out and
Hey, if it drives ratings, if it gets people to watch or listen, they're going to talk about it.
So is it that all of a sudden many people throughout the world have started to go, I'm turning that off because I just don't trust the storytellers anymore?
Yeah, that's a big problem.
It is a problem, and there, the thing is that there's no. I don't want to say there's no consistency, but there's no consistency. It keeps changing.
I think this problem is only perhaps very, the lack of a better word. I think this problem is only very endemic to what the U.S. society about. What you guys going to do with this smoking gun or guns as it is? Things like this. To the rest, actually, to be honest, the rest of the world, across 9,000 miles across this side of the pond, we don't really pay much attention to what the CDC says. I know the CDC just said that you guys can go maskless if you're vaccinated. The rest of us here in Asia said, nah, we're fine here. It's okay. You go do your maskless things. You do you. We'll just carry on wearing our masks until we feel comfortable. So I think it's very endemic only to the US. Unfortunately, I think there are countries that take their cues from whatever the CDC or says or something like that. So they might have their own version, but I think majority of the countries don't really have that.
And I think that's very interesting, and I've thought about that a lot. It's not the first time you brought it up about really it's just the Americas like the CDC or listen to the CDC.
Well, that's because that's our agency. Yeah. That's the group that we have here that says, hey, this is supposed to be healthy for you. This is not. And what we're learning is, as an agency, that group, it's the same group that tells us it's okay to have so many parts per million of rat droppings and rats themselves in the food that you get at the grocery store.
Right.
So
as long as it's
everything in moderation, right?
Yeah, everything in moderation.
Right. A little bit of rat poop will literally perk you up. You know?
That's how I start every morning.
Yeah.
Well, there was a time.
And you know what? With that though, it's seriously. I mean, kind of giggle at that, but so having so many parts per million, if you really look at it, is actually it's helping build your immunity, so to speak, because your body is being exposed to it in small amounts. I'm okay with that to a certain point, right? I mean, you can't get your body can't learn to fight something if it never comes in contact with it.
Yeah.
So if you're getting small exposure to these things, that's great. I think that's why myself and I have a great immune system because I
ate dirt when you were.
I ate dirt when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm exposed to all kinds of stuff. I'm not washing
water.
my hands nonstop. I mean, I'm hygienic, but I'm also not over the top to where I'm scrubbing shit down. And your body needs to get some of this of any type of
So I read a Mississippi River water.
Well,
I read a study that
so your body can actually adapt and understand. Hey, this is this, and hey, it's not great, so I'll get a little bit of it. So next time I see if it's overwhelming, my body can actually fight back against it. But when you're basically quarantining yourself, right, or staying away from all this stuff, you're gonna get sick.
Yeah,
because your body doesn't know how to deal with it.
The boy in the bubble.
Yeah,
right. The boy in the bubble. If you protect yourself in that bubble, you're great. You're fine. You leave that bubble, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You got no other choice because your body doesn't know how to fight it.
And Silas says, I'm not going to tell anyone to wear a mask or get vaccinated. I just hope we don't go backward to wiped out shelves or worse.
That was the scariest part.
Well, the scariest moment for me and all that was when I could not find blueberry English muffins for my wife.
That is frightening.
The blueberry muffin aisle was totally.
We had the same problem here in Singapore. I mean, when last year when it broke out, shelves were wiped out, and we worried about where to get our Prego bolognese sauce. That was a more important thing than toilet paper. I mean, to us.
Yeah. I stood in line for 45 minutes at a grocery store. Normally I'd be like, screw it, I'm out of here. But I sat there for 45 minutes with a cart full of meat and stuff. That was on March 17th, 3 days after the.
Listen, back in the day, you come in outside, your bone would be showing. Your mom would put some Mercurochrome on it and say, "You're okay."
Yeah. Well, that was that yellow shit, right? Yeah, you'll be fine. Shake it off, honey.
Go slip it off. Go slip it off.
Right. Well, and that's the thing is, it's everything is just deadly. That's going to really mess you up. Oh my god. Go get it medicated.
Yeah.
Go to the doctor.
Yeah. Get antibiotics, all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
Well,
your body is the best medicine.
Here's some
chemistry set ever made.
Chicken pox.
Yeah.
Right. But your body literally is the best chemistry set
it's designed
in the world.
To heal itself.
It can heal itself, and it does heal itself as long as, and here's the big thing, people, as long as you are feeding it the right nutrients. Quit eating frickin' McDonald's and all this processed bullshit.
True.
Take your vitamins and minerals. Get off of your couch. Put down your phone. Get off your computer.
Start moving.
Go out. Move. Walk. Look at the world. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
You know, some of the people in it aren't beautiful, right? Not from a physical standpoint. They're
Yeah.
shitty,
Well,
nasty
and
people.
that's
But
one
go
of the-
out and enjoy yourself.
I will
Beautiful
say, though,
planet out
that
there.
is one of the wonderful things about masks.
Yeah.
It saved us all from a year full of ugly.
Well, that's true too.
Yeah,
That's true too. But I mean,
I wasn't able.
you know,
Didn't have to
that's
talk to anybody.
that's the
in
only
public.
benefit I could see as
Yeah.
a year of ugly. But all the people, you know, just nobody's taking, not nobody, a lot of people are not taking good, proper care of themselves.
Here's the issue.
And I mean, our country is so unhealthy and so obese because everything, we're not sitting down. We're not, well, I shouldn't say we're not sitting down.
We're sitting too much.
We're sitting too much, but we're not taking time for ourselves, getting off TV, getting off the phone,
Yeah.
getting back to the basics
So-
of nature and taking care of ourselves and becoming one
Well,
with ourselves
I
and
think-
our families.
I think what's happened throughout the world, maybe not all the world, but most of the world, is we stopped taking. I started relying on you for my happiness. What you do dictates my happiness. To be frank, I don't do impressions, folks, but to be frank, I could care less. Whatever you do doesn't dictate my happiness. I dictate my happiness, right? The things that I do. Listen, if you want to be overweight, be happy being overweight. No, you could die early.
Or just understand the consequences of
Yeah,
what life you
but be
choose
happy.
to lead, but don't
what we
bitch.
But what we
Right.
find is most morbidly obese people have depression and some issues, so they're not really happy. I mean, think about it. When are you the happiest? Wow, I'm the happiest when I'm moving, working with wood, being outside, doing something.
Yeah.
I'm not real happy sitting in my easy chair watching hours of Netflix.
Well, hence the reason I do what I do. I'm happiest when I'm
Right.
when I'm moving, when I'm doing things, when I'm creating,
Creative,
when I'm
right.
helping. I mean, actually,
That's
the best thing for me, the happiest usually I am is when I'm helping somebody else.
Yeah.
Like my family or my friends
Neighbor or whatever.
whatever.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good. I'm giving back to people, which helps me, which helps them. So maybe
And now
they'll
we're
pass
happy.
that along to
Everybody's
pay it
happy.
forward.
Yeah.
I am a
Yeah.
huge
Yeah.
believer of pay it forward.
Yeah,
If I have
absolutely.
some information that I feel that you need to know,
Yeah.
whether you want to hear it from me or not, I'm going to tell you. Right.
Yeah.
So then you can, at least
And
think
that's
about
the
it.
grounds.
Right. That's the ground. But you can at least,
Welcome to the
but
ground.
you can look at it and you can kind of decipher, you know, if that works
Right.
for you, if it doesn't, but at least you have that information. I mean, people tell me stuff all the time and I go, it's, you know, maybe not, but it made me look at something different. And that's, we were talking about questioning. That's why still my thing
Yeah.
is question everything,
Now,
because you have to know, and you have to have all the information to make an educated decision for yourself, so you
Yeah.
can live the way that you would like to live.
yeah, and
Right,
folks,
right.
I don't want to beat the emails or try to sweep them under the rug, but I want you to know that if you go back 12 months, 14 months, if you go back to February of 2020, it's documented our thoughts and things about things that were happening at that point in time. Well documented. You can visit us on our YouTube channel, like, subscribe, ring the bell.
You betcha, buddy.
Right. Or Facebook, or download the app on your Android phone. And listen, so that we're not trying to sweep that under the rug like a lot of the storytellers may do. It's a big deal, but go back and check us out a little over a year ago, and you'll see what our feelings are on it as back then. Just oddly coming to fruition now. But yeah, as if we go back to the happiness part, if we go back to the storytelling, and the happiness is, if a headline grabs my attention, and I subscribe to a couple different news sources that are unbiased. And basically, it's just a couple of people who do it, but they enjoy doing it. And I see a headline that catches my attention. I'm going to read it. If I see one that doesn't catch my attention or I think is a bunch of hockey pock, I don't read it because
That's your choice.
That keeps me happy.
Right.
Yeah.
But you're choosing what you want to consume and not to consume.
Bam, bam in the house. There he is.
The problem with is everything is the people are just being over inundated with too much information that they really probably normally wouldn't want to listen to it because it is such prevalent
Here's
out there.
some good information for it's National Donut Day today.
It's National Donut Day. Where's my donut?
I had an apple fritter this morning.
See?
That's not a donut.
I participated.
Yeah, that's not a donut.
Oh.
That's a Danish, technically, right? Because a donut has a hole.
Pastry.
I was still excited about it. I was still very excited.
bought
Still excited about it, but we didn't get it.
So if you were to buy a
It was during Mary Catherine's Power Hour playlist.
if you were to buy a bear claw and poke a hole in it, would it then be a donut?
No.
No.
So the donut has a hole in it.
We're digressing
I don't
really
know.
quick.
You can't put a hole in a piece of toast and call it a bagel. Come on.
Why not?
I mean, you
You
could
can do whatever you want. That's your personal
That's
choice.
right.
You
That's what
could.
makes you happy.
You'd be wrong, but you could. I'm still happy about my apple fritter.
Absolutely.
awesome.
And you should be.
I'm happy that my son hit a 2-run homer in a state high school playoff game last night.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Nice.
What
Awesome.
state?
This state.
Good morning, Lisa.
They're having
Good morning,
playoffs?
Lisa.
Yeah.
Wow.
Playoffs. Yeah. I think he graduated 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Is Lisa back in town, or are you still in the Colorados, in the mountains?
Colorado's. Nice.
All the info news. Eric says all the info news is about one thing: driving traffic to their websites, station, or social media to sell ads. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's no longer a non-for-profit, right? I mean, it's big business.
No, it's
billions,
huge business.
Billions of
The
dollars.
key is to know that, though.
Yeah.
You can't just turn your back to
Yeah.
media.
Right.
You have to take it in and then ingest it and be critical
So
and really find out what it means to you.
right, but
you know?
my daughter graduated high school, and we're having a party for her next weekend, right? And we sent out, to family and whatever, and a person in the family responds, "Is everybody there going to be vaccinated?"
Guess we won't see you at the party. Thanks and have a nice day. Because that's it.
Just make the check out too, and just send it as a mail, right? And I was just like, first of all, who gives a shit, And second of all, why?
Well,
would
apparently she does, or he
yeah,
does, whatever
right.
it is.
Why would
But
you ask? Yeah.
well, right. So with that, I mean, that's a question that really is not. That's a personal question. You shouldn't
Right.
be asking somebody.
I never
that,
asked, hey,
you know?
you
Right.
got the flu shot?
Right.
Are you polio?
Well, that's right.
Do you have
So
HIV?
Right, or just coming right, and it just ask.
It
That's
depends what
that's
Is your
situation is.
chlamydia
information.
under control?
It depends what situation I'm in and how happy I am, but that may be a question that I ask
That
in a
could be a
situation.
question worth asking in certain situations.
Eric said,
Only when bodily fluids are involved.
Yeah, it's you know what, Eric, and it is. It's opinionated. That's the storytellers are now. It's opinion,
Eric is my hero. He's wearing bedazzled pants.
and the other, hey, hit the link and come in. I want to see those pants.
Right.
And the other thing is, a lot of major universities now, kids are getting their degree in opinion,
Yeah.
Rhetoric.
and rhetoric,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Sure.
I mean, that's why I say the storytellers.
There's too much.
the
There's too
narratives.
much opinion and too much bullshit out there. How about let's just do
Yeah.
something instead of talking about it. Let's
Yeah.
do something.
Right.
Let's
Yeah.
make a difference in the world instead of talking
Right, but what
about.
happens
Makes
is
money,
if
though.
I don't like what you do, then I've got to throw a big stink about it.
Yeah.
Right.
When I shouldn't even care. I'd be like, look at that guy playing in the mud over there. He's happy.
Right.
Listen,
I'm alone.
and we've all done this. You may not have, Gary, but we've all helped out at like pads. We've donated some of our time for homeless people.
Yeah.
Well, there are some, and we're like, oh, what a tragedy, what a tragedy. But if you talk with them, some are like, listen, I choose to live this way.
Yeah.
I don't want the headaches of everything else.
Right.
So I'm happy floating around, living out of a garbage can, whatever.
No responsibility.
And you look at it and go, well, then okay.
Right.
As long as
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
there was
As
a.
long as they're choosing it, whatever you choose, that's up to you. But don't look to me if you're choosing something like that to bail you out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. To give you free stuff because you choose to be lazy, and that's I look at a lot of those people as kind of lazy. They kind of give up.
I
Right.
don't know. Living off the grid is hard work.
Not living out of garbage cans. Living off the grid's a totally different story. Living off the grid,
Is it?
yeah,
That's easy.
living off the grid. is living off the grid. Actually, those are probably some of the happiest people because they just worry about day to day.
Well,
Right?
so does the homeless guy who chooses to be homeless.
Yeah.
He just chooses not to do it in the woods
He
or the
just doesn't-
mountains.
not-
And he doesn't have solar power, which
doesn't
we
have
can get to
solar
that in
power.
a second.
But
Eric Bam says, Mr. Bam says, my new motto is, I don't want to be with the bob, dang, dang, diggy, diggy. He does not want to be a thought leader. He wants to be a thought and took action leader.
I like that.
right, that's
I mean,
right.
your
Take
guy,
action, do.
you like Simon Sinek. He is a thought leader.
Right.
He's a great, and Gary V, who a lot of people like, right? Gary Vaynerchuk
Yeah,
also considers himself a thought leader, right?
Well, those guys. I mean,
Yeah.
Gary is he's just.
They're both brilliant.
They're both. They are.
They've learned how to market themselves.
I was
Yeah,
going to say.
they're-
So they're
they're-
marketing
They're
geniuses.
good marketeers.
They're really no smarter than us.
Correct.
A lot of those guys that you see like on the internet and stuff like that have found out a way to make money
Yeah.
telling people what to do, right? Storytelling, right.
Yeah.
This is what I did. So people subscribe.
Yeah.
And if you really look at what a lot of those people's money's coming from, it's from those people like me, you, or whatever that subscribe to what they do and to the, get their books and podcasts and stuff.
Yeah,
They didn't-
I agree.
They're not all making it from what they say they're doing it from.
Now we're starting to see that here across the pond here in Singapore. We're getting YouTube, the so-called youngsters that come on YouTube and say, "I just need 30 seconds of your time," and I'll give the 5 steps to whatever. So I said, yeah, and generally, I think 80% of the population here in this small island of 5.7 million, we just go that yeah, that's bullshit. Okay, it doesn't fly in the face here, unfortunately. But we've seen it. I need 30 seconds of your time. The video starts at I need 30 seconds. I'll give you five secrets of success, and then the rest of us go like, yeah. Grow up and go find a better job.
I like.
We
what
used to
Shayna-
say that here in America
Yeah.
too.
I like what Shayna says here. She says, I have memories of watching the news with clarifying interviews without even being able to tell what the interviewer's position was. Remember that?
Right.
Yes.
That is when they were reporting the news. Here's
Yeah.
what happened.
Right.
Decipher it for yourself. Not here's what happened and this is what we say it is. Right.
They
Or this
let the
is what we
storytellers
believe
tell
as
the
a
story
station.
themselves.
Our opinion on
Here's
this.
our opinion.
Yeah.
We don't want your opinion. Just tell me what happened. Hey, there was a fire today. Great. There was a fire today. That sucks. I hope no one got hurt. Right. But then the opinion was that maybe the neighbor was unhappy with them and did something to
Right.
them and
Yeah.
da-da-da-da. Not just a fire and they put it out
Right.
and everyone's good. There's always just a whole backstory and front story. And,
Yeah.
it's
Side
it's
story.
not, it's not, there's
Sport-
nothing
it's
as
like,
simple as getting
we've-
some
we've-
information.
We've created and fostered this blame culture. I mean, everybody's
whose
got to
fault
be
is it?
blamed.
Yeah.
Somebody has to be responsible for something, and damned if it's going to be me.
Yeah.
Right.
Is
Yeah,
what
I think you guys call it in the education system something called critical race theory.
Critical race theory. Yeah.
We know about that over here. Yes, we don't take that crap over here, but we do know that it's quite endemic in the education system in the US. This critical race theory. Everybody's at fault except for me.
Yeah.
That's right.
yeah.
Well, and there's so many places to voice your opinion now,
Right.
and there's money to be made. My brother's a stand-up comedian, okay,
Yeah.
and he makes pretty good money out on the road. He's been on a couple TV shows. His business was going just fine, and then he got a podcast, just reviewing movies with another comedian, and all of a sudden, his revenue for live shows was overtaken by his revenue for $1 a week podcast. And now he has a voice and an audience and hundreds
Did
of
you hear that?
people.
$1 a week.
Yeah,
$1 a month
I'm
for-
making notes over here.
Yeah, his podcast, if you get somebody to buy it, then, or subscribe to it, then it's $1 every time they download it.
So
in some cases.
just
Not
in
all
your
of them.
in your comment section, just go ahead and leave your Visa information there,
Yeah,
or your MasterCard, or it's fine. We'll take it
yeah.
for this.
I mean, we've got 3.6 million listeners here on 216
That's
The Net. So if we got $1 from every one of them, well, we wouldn't have to be here next month.
But we'd want to be.
would.
We would want to.
We would.
See,
We
that's
would. 'Cause it
right.
would
And
be
I
like
want to
a
be here.
I said we wouldn't.
golden
Right.
studio.
I said we
with-
wouldn't have to be here.
Right. And
We would want
I do appreciate the fact that we're able to do this because we're able to give our opinion.
Yeah.
It's our
Yeah.
opinion, folks. Understand that this is not
It's like
necessarily
sitting down
all
at the
fact.
coffee shop or
Right.
talking with
Having
Goober.
some-
Yeah.
the gas
Right,
station.
is we're trying to bring out to you guys what we think, what we're doing, what we're going on in our lives, and you guys can take it, process it, and think about how maybe think of things differently. Once again, they question everything. Well, why did they say that? How does that affect my life? Why should I do that? Why would I not want to do that? Why should I do that?
Well, yeah, and
How am I going to help somebody?
what there isn't enough of is just good people, all the good listeners, you guys, Pete over there, who take the time to sit and have a conversation.
Yeah.
But just be a person.
Yeah.
Not be judgmental. Not be Just, I mean, for me, I tell people when I tell people stuff, right? I preach at them because I know my kids and they think I preach at them. It's because if I don't explain to you or share with you my thoughts and what I see and what I feel, I'm not helping you.
Yeah,
I'm helping you to either go, you know what, Dad or Scott, you're nuts. This is how I feel, but at least they're looking at it from a different perspective. Because a lot of times somebody will say something to me, I'll go, wow, I didn't look at it that way. I get it, but I still choose to do it my way or continue to have my idea. That's my choice. Yeah. But at least I'm getting good information. Right. Or giving good information. At least I feel giving good information.
Or just listening.
Right. Or listening.
I mean, you've done that.
Actively
You've done
listening.
that. Yeah. You've done that person a great, hey, thanks for listening. I feel validated good because you listened to me.
Right. Well, that my opinion matters.
He didn't agree with me, but man, at least he took the time to hear what I had to say.
Right.
And a lot of times, 8 out of 10, maybe 7.5 out of 10, that's people just want to be heard. Yeah. They're just not heard today.
Right? I think maybe that's the missing part of the landscape right now in the US society. The thing about listening, I'm not asking you to, I'm not forcing my opinion down on you, but you're just listening, and whether you accept it or agree or not, that's beside the point. But at least you're listening, and I think perhaps not enough of that is being done in the landscape.
So here's what I would challenge all of our listeners. Here's what I challenge everybody who's on here commenting, you guys in studio as well, is over this next week, take a look at what stories are you're living, right? How many conversations are around your what's on in the news and on the media? How many of your conversations, how much of your life is driven by these storytellers? And if you can come back to me next week and say, you know what, seriously, none, or it was about 5, then I think you're a pretty happy person. If you're like, man, 98% of my conversations were about what was in the news with people, then you're probably not
that. Kind of a boring life, actually.
Well, right. Well, and that's the thing is I actually challenge you to go out and have a conversation with somebody that does not circle back to COVID.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's all everyone's talking about. So that, in my mind, there's stuff going on behind the scenes that we're not paying attention to because you're so worried about COVID and what the storytellers are telling you that you're not paying attention to the political and the economic scene. Our economy's in trouble. And people aren't paying attention to it because they're more worried about getting inoculated against this virus than they are about taking care of themselves and their family and their future. And
Bitcoin.
Yeah, Nate says it good. I haven't watched the news in months. I look into my own news and I honestly feel great not having to deal with the news. It's not really news. Yeah, you're right. That's kind of what we're saying. It's the storytellers.
Yeah.
Right. It's not really news.
What is the news?
There's an agenda there.
Right. And we're down to the final minute and a half here. Any final thoughts?
Watch some sports journalism.
Screw that.
Sports.
Don't
sports
watch
is
shit.
Selling
no,
you.
Don't watch shit. Get out of your house. Get off your phone. Get off your computer. Go outside for lunch. Go enjoy the world. Go talk to somebody. Smile at somebody. Give someone a hug.
I'm just saying, if you feel like you haven't seen any good journalism, read some sports journalism. They're selling the game, but there's no agenda, and they're just reporting what happened. And I think it would make you feel a little better about media.
There you go.
There's parts of media that are good.
That's a good idea.
Balls.
Few
That's our sports report.
few and far between. Just, you know what? How about everybody this week? Try putting your phone, your computer, all that shit down for one whole day. Don't pay attention to anything but yourself and what your body and your mind tells
your family.
you.
Good
and
advice.
your family.
Good
you know
advice.
what? You're not going to die. The world is not going to end. You're not going to fail. You're not going to, just completely lose if you disconnect for one day. See how you feel.
Hey,
If I'm wrong,
very humbled and blessed that y'all stopped
Awesome.
in this morning, hung out with the grounds. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. Sam, come back any Friday. It's fun.
Thanks for having me. I'll be back.
and if you guys are really stressed and over anxious, come on, stop at the Cannabis CBD shop. Get some CBD to take care of you, help relax you, enjoy. Go outside, get some sun, guys. Give your neighbor a hug, and just say hi to people.
That's it.
Just be genuine. Love you all.
Give them some good news.
Yeah, give them some good news, not some negative.
Don't come back. The bridge is taking a week off. We're revamping some things. Bridging Civil Tension will be back next week.
Well, I'm not civilly tensioned.
Hey man, just switch it off. Don't eat it from the trough. Sure you can stuff your face. But you've been commercial break.